Was younger, and it was usually about racial bullying, sort of, and more like being the quiet, more outcast person.
If it's ever happened to you,
They try to mess with my shoes or just try to take them off.
chances are you'll never forget.
It just made me feel like, really upset. Like, why would such people do things like that?
I was just kind of a book smart kid and kind of dorky, and got teased in kind of the typical ways.
Years later, perspective helps.
Why do you think people bully?
I think people do that for attention. They want something to make them feel proud of themselves.
They're probably having something going on at their household, or they're probably being bullied, so they just feel like, oh, let me just bully on someone else just to make me feel better.
They just don't like themselves, and they just take it out on others.
So you think ultimately it's about the bully, not the victim?
Yeah.
And it's not just school children who live in fear of being bullied. Statistics reveal in the U.S. nearly 40% of adults claim they've either witnessed or have experienced being verbally abused, threatened, or intimidated in the workplace.
She made me feel like I was incompetent.
Lydia Vine says she met her bully when she accepted a temporary job in the medical field.
She just made it very difficult. She was extremely condescending.
And the worst part, she was her supervisor.
Things were not set up correctly. Things were set in a way that I could make a mistake if I did not double check everything, which normally didn't even need to be done. But once this happened the first time, I realized I needed to keep watching because I felt like somebody was setting me up.
Vine said at first she second-guessed herself, much like she did when she was a child and she was picked on in school.
It was very uncomfortable. I dreaded going in every day. I felt sick about having to go in.
She tried to stick up for herself, but once she realized,
I'm not going to change her.
she quit.
I never got to the point to actually say to her, do not treat me this way. That is what I ideally would have done.
Vine says she's since learned to empower herself after working with motivational speaker and author Sandra Crow.
Do you remember when you were a kid and you were out in the playground and your mom said, you said, oh, Mom, that kid hit me or something. She'd go back and hit him back. Well, it's actually not bad advice, because one of the things that the bullies do is that when you go down and you become that victim, they feel rewarded. And I always say, reward the behavior you want to see repeated.
And as hard as it is,
you've got to find that inner place of strength. And we all have that too. We've all had those moments where we stood up and we felt righteous and we defended either someone else we loved or we defended ourselves. That's the place you have to find inside yourself, and that's the place that has to stand up to the bully.